Welcome to Warblog. Today we're looking at the Costa Rican Civil War. It's not as complete as I'd like it to be. So I've got into the research quite well, and then I forgot about it. I didn't forget about it, but things happened, so I'm not going to bother reading all of this. I'm just going to get into playing it. But I've got some key dates, but the thing is, there's virtually nothing on the Costa Rican Civil War. It took 44 days, I think. I've got a few key points. Cartego fell on the 12th of April. 20th of March, Enrique Tijerino lands at Dominical with about 600 troops and takes San Isidro del General for the Costa Rican government. And that's this little section here. Basically, all they were doing, they didn't take it. It was already theirs. They just reinforced it. Because the Costa Rican government didn't really take the uprising that seriously, and they focused mainly on protecting power stations and some key points like that. But I think they assumed that they were going to hold power, and that all that was going to happen with the rebels were going to target sensitive areas like power stations, and so they protected them, as opposed to they didn't really take on a war footing. It wasn't really sort of like a formation or a key defensive line to stop them advancing north up this key road. Essentially, what happened is when they failed to accept the outcome of the vote, the other guy, he gathered some troops at his farm. I haven't detailed that anywhere in here. And then they basically just gained momentum. So that's them sort of starting off at the farm in the south. And then they gain momentum. Now I haven't played this yet, and I'm curious to see how the game balance works out. It took 44 days. It seems that the only major battle was at Cartego, which was heavily defended. Well, not heavily defended, heavily fought over. The other places, it seems as though it was more a walk over. They arrived and they took places, but there's no real note of any major military engagement. So I might do a scenario called the Battle of Cartego, because it seems like a big one, but even so, there is simply nothing on it. This is missing a lot of information, actually. I just want to get it done because it's been sitting there sort of not done for a while now. Starts on the 12th of March. And Cartego fell on the 12th of April. That was after about a week of fighting, but I'm not going to explain the ins and outs of it because I just don't feel like it at the moment, but there were other things that affected what happened overall. For example, the Nicaraguans did certain things, and the US were grouping in Panama to stop them. So Nicaragua entered strategic positions in the northern Costa Rica, stating that they were protecting their border from the fallout of the Civil War. So that's sort of this area up here. I'm not going to include the Nicaraguans, but then the Americans were said to be massing down here. Part and parcel of the problem was that it was part of the Cold War, and some of these elements were considered to be communist. Some government elements were said to have been communist, but the irony was that they weren't, that the rebels were more communist. You'd have to sort of read through it, and I did want to do more justice on this on the video and the whole write-up. but just time has not been favourable for that. I did a lot of newspaper articles, and that's where I got a bit of it from, and I've opened a load up and I haven't finished them. And there's little bits of information and I just haven't done it. But I haven't even put the references in yet. But there weren't too many. There's the Wikipedia stuff and then there's this. But what's most interesting are the CIA documents. Now the CIA obviously is the Central Intelligence Agency for the United States. And they have, like a lot of other organisations, archives that they've now made available, to everyone. And this is one of them that I've gone through. And there aren't many, to be quite honest. But this is obviously it says confidential information report, but it's now approved for release in 2000. I love these old documents, but this was written in the 21st of June 1948, so that's shortly after the war. I was talking about rumours of a counter-revolution backed by Somoza have been cropping up with increasing frequency in Lanuma, despite explicit denials by Suzuma. And that's it. That's the nature of their document. I think this other one might be a bit more interesting. This one's the 23rd of March, 1948. So this is just over a week after the start. Despite military training at CTCR headquarters under Adolfo Brown's, a veteran of the Spanish Civil War, blah blah blah, militants have shown little eagerness to participate in the actual fighting. They are now being used as guards over 3 power plants at the Compagnia de Fuerza Milius. 420 men under Vanguardia Deputy Jamie Cardas has been divided equally among the Brazil, Belen and Las Ventas plant, etc., etc. Adolfo Brands, at the head of the workshop of the government-owned electric railway to the Pacific, is also directing PVP members in the manufacture of 80 and 100 pound bombs. A column led by Enrique Tijerino, a Nicaraguan who has lived in Costa Rica for many years and a PVP deputy, has reportedly captured the airport at San Isidro del General after disembarking near the Pacific port of Dominical. It is understood that this group now numbers some 600 men. So this is actually what I put in. So actually, this was where I got this bit of the game from. Here, around 20th of March, Enrique Tijerino, whatever. I apologise for my pronunciation, I'm just tired and I just can't be bothered struggling with the English language or any of this stuff. So he lands with 600 troops. So this is the thing about history that I love. You pick up a little bit here from a historic archive and it's as simple as that. There's no textbook here, there's no sort of like ABC book on the Nicaragua, the Costa Rica Civil War. I've been looking for books and I can't find it. But the thing is, there's still more that I can do. I just haven't got around to doing it all. And I probably won't for a while at least. But there's Skype, but there is no good book. There's a couple of books on it, but they're expensive. Once it gets over like £5, it's beyond my ability to really want to buy it. I just don't like spending money because I don't have a lot. It's a weird situation. I have a fair amount, but £5 for a book is about my limit. And I can't find it. But the thing is, even if I could buy that book, it's mainly the politics, not the you know, I'm not sure whether it has sort of this on this date, and this battle happened, etc., etc. But as I said, I might redo, and I might add another game, and just sort of, you know, draw a big map of Cartagena and just assume that they're coming up this road, put some defences on there, and see how that works out. But I'm just going to jump in and play it now. So, well, I don't know what to do really. Let's hold that town. Should have actually put that as red, so that's their first turn. Right, but they're not really taking that particularly seriously, so they're just going to hold. And we could try and engage them. So the thing is, because they're in jungle, they're going to get a bonus, so this is going to be a 1-to-1 if anything. And they've won a DR, so that's what you get for starting a revolution. You get pushed back. Over the tower as well. Okay. Right. This is a problem. I'm using the wrong counters, so I'm going to have to restart. Okay, so I've sorted that. I'm going to start now. I'm going to begin. As you can see, the units have changed. I'm not going to go through all the preamble again. I'm just going to start the completely game. It doesn't make a lot of difference. We know what our first move was. But you know what? I'm not going to do that this time. I'll take that objective this time. What are they doing? Well, there's always an element of roleplay, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to do something though. I've done that. I'm not going to start again, but I've made this an objective now. But I'm not going to change it for this game. Right, so the Costa Ricans are not going to do anything. Just because we don't really believe it's a revolution yet. But look, there's more of them now. It's a revolution now. Or a civil war. Including these guys. Now I don't know too much about these. But in the Wikipedia article they say that there are some Ulatista forces. Now Ulatista were the other party to... These represent the political parties, you see, essentially. I'm not sure exactly how, but the Costa Rica government essentially failed to recognise the outcome of the election. And these were... So the Ulistas were, I think, the people that were more socialist. And these people were the other party, one of the other parties that sort of should have won, who formed the National Liberation Army. You read about it in Wikipedia. But let's now go for it. Okay, well, let's bring these down a bit, because, you know, we could start to take it seriously. These are motorised units. Let's bring the motorised units down. So one of the problems with the war was that the government didn't take the uprising particularly seriously. And bring these ones down this way, because we don't know what's going to happen. And Yemen looks like a city, so we'll just do it like that. We'll just move some troops around. Okay. Well, they appear to have just appeared. Look at them. Well, these are actually supposed to be the national government ones, so compounding all that, I'm going to start again. So, well, what I'm going to say, as you can see, I've got emails now, objectives, so let's take that. So now, we've got a first turn objective, focus. First turn focus for the national, whatever they are. I'm not going to do anything in the first turn because I'm going to assume that we're surprised. So now we're using starting down here. We're not going to take this yet because we know that there are going to be certain reinforcements. Right, so we're now going to start to get a bit concerned. It's worth noting that this is all conjecture. I don't know what happened. I don't know what sort of momentum they had or what they actually did. It's worth noting, I'm getting the sense that I do actually have limited resources. I'm actually trying to decide where to deploy them is actually, I feel that we've got more than we have at the moment, but they will start to build up. So maybe trying to come down to meet them is not the best thing. Okay, now he's still appearing in level 2. Let's give that at 7 year. What was it? What I do? Okay, I've done it. Considering it's such a big thing, I'm going to start again. The people are thinking, God, this is stupid, you could start the game. One of the things, this isn't sort of documentary on Costa Civil War, whatever it is, Costa Rican Civil War. It's, to a large part, it's me just testing this game, and that's what I quite often do. I'm playing, I've just written it, put it together, and I'm sort of testing it, and I record that because it's just sort of the way of making a video, really. But but the point is, I fixed these as what you might consider to be bugs, and I'm fixing them sort of in real time. So we know what the first turn is. But, I also like playing it again and again in certain stages because you get a sense of what you want to be doing. So again, we feel like we've got lots of Costa Rican units, but really, do we? I mean, at the moment we do. We're not going to do anything in the first turn, so we consider we're surprised. So there we go, we've got more units than what we did last time. Is that, so we'll do that again. Why not? And for anyone who's used this channel time and time again, probably picks up on that. I always consider these to be like chess games, and the opening moves are, to a lesser degree, predictable. You should be able to predict what you're going to do. Sort of saying, oh, this is the way to play, to open this game, to do these things, etc. So what we've got going on here at the moment is pretty much the same as we did last time, but is that the right thing to do? We've got a strategy in place. Bringing these ones up might be a good idea, I think. That's not something we did last time. We've now got a nice clean line across there. It's worth noting as well, I haven't said this yet, but the reason they lost to a larger extent was because they basically ran out of ammunition. They just weren't particularly well equipped. They ran out of supplies. The government. It's a peculiar war, and after it they disbanded their military, and they've never had a war since, apparently, apart from some other later suspected uprising, but I haven't done that in this. I'll get rid of that. So we can make that as well. Okay, so fix that. So the Costa Rican government. I think it's their turn. And as you can see, those units have now arrived in Dominical, and they will head to the San Isidro del General, where they take the airport. So the narratives put together. Right, but we've got some cheap units here, and I think we're going to try and take Paso Canoas. And I'm going to use these units to head through the hills. I've got an idea. I think we might want to go in for our first battle. Or an exchange. I've got some reinforcements coming in now. Look. Okay. Well, we'll move these motorised units down here a bit. And because it was written in history, I'm going to put these there, and everyone else is going to stay the same. I think the other than these are going to come down like this. Put him in there. Let's move these guys down. Leave those there, leave all this stuff as it is. This. Well, we want to protect Puerto Jimenez, so we'll stay there. What's that? Okay. Why didn't they take the wrong there? Okay. We'll just head through these mountains. We had an exchange before. Let's see whether we can do better this time. We push them back. And moving into Ciudad Cortez. And I've got the option to do an attack there. Let's do it. Push them back. DR. Okay. I'll leave them to see if they have an effect on that. Yes, we've taken it, but we'll now free these units up into the battle. So I think what we're learning here is the general dynamics of it. Obviously, heading up this road, which is what we did. But then obviously there would be the option to cut across the central Cerro Chapito area, maybe I should use that as the area, or the Tillera, through these sort of more mountainous, hilly, inland area, over to the eastern coast. Was that something they did? Was that an option, or are these just not really big enough? I don't know. So when you model it and simulate it like that, you come up with other questions. Maybe it just wasn't worth doing that. Maybe it was just pointless to consider any strategic significance of this. There was nothing there, and the race was for San Jose, and that was it. Yeah. Right, whose turn is it? It's Costa Rican government's turn. They are concerned. We can't afford to lose that position. We're defending that, but we can use these to defend there, and we can defend there. And keep everything we've got. So in these positions, this road does actually just sort of end there. And it's a little bit odd because you can't see the rest of the map. Okay, so we're getting a lot more units down here now. Yeah, I think this big stack has just appeared. I think that's the bringing back, it just appeared. I think there's too many units. The reason we got all these units is not so much because they were outnumbered, than they were. It's to represent the growing superiority in armament, so to speak. They might have had more units, but they didn't have the ammunition or the guns. I mean, if you read that thing, one thing that I read about was a situation where he called some personal guards and 10 personal military police type guards turned up and they didn't have guns. So you sent them off to get guns and they didn't come back. It's sort of weird, really. And this was 1948, so things were quite different. You didn't really want to fight. So, I think we can afford to wait a turn and to build up. I just think we can afford to do this. So stacking rules work. Massive stack, look. Right, we're a bit concerned now. Let's make sure we've got these places defended. What am I actually going to do? I haven't reinforced this sector. as if we needed more. Okay. Well, let's see if we can push this way. So we're building up for a big battle here. Maybe not the best of odds. Island attack. Exchange. I know it's being a bit hasty there, but so that's gonna cheer them up a bit. Bring him over as well. Not leaving him there. Still can't really afford to do much. Now I think. Okay. We finally arrived. Right. Exchange. So we're pushing him back into Puerto Jimenez. It's not looking brilliant. Whereas I've maybe been a bit rash over here, but I feel as though I really want to go for this attack. Exchange last time. Another exchange. So this defensive line is proving formidable. I want to try that over. Give it another turn. Well, motorised units, that's those guys. Heading in that direction. They're holding their ground, but they're slowly being surrounded. And we've still got him to think about. Let's move this guy and this guy into Parita. Support this road. Can we force the surrender of this town? Yes. It was bloody, but we finally did it. And we really are forcing them back into Puerto Jimenez. Buenos Aires has fallen. That was disastrous for them. Gives us hope for this battle here. Another exchange. It's interesting because they can't afford to be surrounded because they just have the units. And let's go for it. And they are. Right. Well, fortunately we had the foresight to bring in some reinforcements, but they're a bit late. Let's go back in there. We might have defensive bonuses, but nothing from there really. So we could have retreated when we had the chance. I think that would have been a better thing to do. So maybe we're going to get cut off here now. We've got an opportunity to retreat. Into there. Let's do it. Okay. Well, that wasn't the best move. We should still get them because they're not entrenched. Question 2. Exchange. was a good move moving back in there. It wasn't a good move in there because I could have moved him in there. And... Right, but anyway, we've got bigger battles now. Russian war. Exchange. Right. Should move in there. Oh, move in there. Okay. Well, because the stack is all out of movement, or out of movement points, I'm not going to do that attack because there's only this stack and bits of this stack available. And I'm not going to force them out. It's turning into a game of manoeuvre. Oh, we seem to have done okay here, but again, we might have to give that up if they start to surround them. In fact, that was a bad move because they can move there next turn, we can only move there, and we now move into there and we'll be completely surrounded and cut off, so that was a bad move. Here, it's starting to get difficult. Again. Well, we'll have to retreat, I think. So we couldn't afford to lose those units. Oh, they're going to need reinforcements. Let's bring these in there. You see? No, we can't get in there. Exchange. Well, it's about as good as it's going to get, but they're not entrenched. They made a loss on that. So they're really making us pay for every step forward. Okay, well, do they stay there and get surrounded? try and move out. That's stupid, isn't it? I might be able to move in there, I might need to fight them. Here. Oh. So that was a bad move, because if they lose these, they lose 2 units. But the bad move was made a couple of turns ago. More exchange, so still in there. Yeah, push them back. That's what they wanted. And now we can focus all this on that. So we get 2 attacks this turn from this stack. It's efficient. 1 to 1, but we push them back. So that's 2 successes. And this is going to be a bit tougher, so I'm going to do it. But we can't get through. We've got a bottleneck there. We'll hold on that. And holding there. So this is a really intense game. I'm enjoying this. I think it's well balanced in the immediate sense, and I thought that's had too many units, but because of this jungle, I think it gives them defense bonuses, and the 3s are quite big, you know, and so I think it's working quite well. What I'm not doing at the moment is paying any real great attention to the fatigue, because they're building up in units, 3, but I'm going to try and break out here. Oh, a 3 to 1 or a BE. Pushes them back there, gives us the ability to break out here. Go back in there, some reinforcements, and that's it. Well, this is our line. He's holding in there. But we've got to take it now. Well, brave defense or Puerto Jimenez. Exchange. Let's punch them out there. That seems more useful at this stage. Exchange. So we're going to have to build up for next time. So look at that, they're getting, could be running out of steam. hold so they can recover. They can get pushed back. Well, let's do it. Exchange. What we can do is this. These two will go out of use, but we can fill them up through that. And we've really got to try and punch through this gap. We've hit one of them before. 0, 1 is recovered. Okay, so that's some success there. Okay. And let's see if we can have a similar level of success here. Exchange. Oh, I think the revolution's going pear-shaped. Sure, I could have done better. What can we do here, though? We're going to get surrounded bit by bit. He's dug in. He's not. Let's move him there. He's dug in. Let's do that. 6, 6. I'm going to sit there and recover. Pear-shaped, pear-shaped. What's going on down here? Yeah. Exchange. Let's try this. to reload it, because when you do it like that, you don't get the stats, so is it? I wasn't thinking before. It's all there. Use the fresher units. DR. Maybe goes back in there and will be dug in or anything, so that's giving us a bit more luck, but I think we're doing so well, we can afford to do that. And I think we can afford to go back in that, or to sit there. I think we'll leave it at that. Let's just see if we can do a few more quick moves. 8. We couldn't even handle that easy job. Let's give it one more go. No. No. One more go down here. No. The revolution, I think, has failed. Right, I'm going to leave it at that, 1.5 minutes. That is a total failure, but I think it could have worked. I think if I played it a bit better, and for example, I'm not splitting my forces and sending it in huge sections of the army this way. I'm not even bothering with this. I wonder how easy it is to do. It's a really interesting game. I'm pretty sure it wasn't this difficult originally. I think the thing to bear in mind is that once this fails, there's nothing to really stop them getting to San Jose. It all opens up. As if I've done it so badly. It'd be well worth playing the game, but I probably won't. Yeah, I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.